Okay guys, welcome back to the second part of the Stop Buying Bees series. We've manipulated these colonies a little bit since the last video. We came in, we removed our mouse guards, we cleaned off the bottom boards. That just the colonies are smaller and they're not able to get all the hive debris out. That's a breeding ground for small hive beetles. We're basically going to show you today how we manipulated these colonies and why. As you remember, this colony here was queen right, had brood going. That colony appeared to be a drone laying queen, so we took some steps to buy some time and hopefully fix that. So that's what we're going to do today, so stay tuned. Okay, on this colony, it's doing great. It's where we want it to be. If you noticed in the before video, the deep super was on the bottom and we manipulated it. We put it on top because we want these bees to come up into this deep and start laying. That's the super we want. We'll be doing away with this one completely later in the series, and we'll show you how to do that as we get on into it. But they are taking down some feed, as you can see. Not a lot, but it's still chilly out. It's still chilly at night, so that's kind of to be expected. But we'll give them all that they can take. If they'll take it, we're going to give it to them at this point. We've got some heavy rains coming in, so I'm going to take these off for a day or so, because sometimes water will leak down and it's going to be still going to be cool, and I don't want that water dripping down on my cluster. So we're going to add another sugar brick onto these bees. As you can see, they were taking that syrup. It's been warm, they've been taking it, able to use it. And if you come up close and look, you'll see, even though our brood's being reared mostly in this bottom box, they're still taking advantage of the sugar brick on top, which is exactly what you want. You want them to have all the feed that they can get. I'm just giving them a little smoke. It's windy today. They're not in a great mood. But this is the box I'm really wanting to see, is in the bottom. And as you can see, they're consuming the pollen patty and also eating the sugar. And that's all I'm going to do with this box here at this time. Just going to smoke these bees down. We know the brood's being reared here. So I'm going to give them another sugar brick, just because it's going to be a few days before I can get into them, and I don't want to have any issues with them not having food. And I'm going to close this colony back off and show you how the measures we took to correct this box. Making sure everything's lined up nice and good, especially since we got a lot of rain coming in. We'll put this back on top. And we'll close it off and make sure everything's lined up and looking good. And like I said, we're going to take these off for the time being just because of the heavy rains that are coming in. And we're just going to leave it sitting down here in the bee yard. No issue with that. A little bit of rain may get into it, but it won't hurt anything. Okay guys, on this colony, this is hive, well, one I guess. It's the one that had the queen issue. We don't know if it was a drone layer or if she just hadn't got kicked off yet or what. We found some bullet-shaped brood in there that was on worker cells, and that shouldn't be the case. And so it led us to believe that there's a drone laying queen. We couldn't find the queen, but we're going to have to see what we can do about it. There was also a supersedure cell we tore off because we don't want these genetics in our colony. And what we did, we also removed the mouse guard. We cleaned the bottom board of this colony. We manipulated this colony in the same method as we did that one. We put the medium super on the bottom because that's where they were trying to raise that cell, and the predominant of the bees were in this box. Later on, we want these bees to move up into the deep box, and we'll do away with this one also, because the way we are going to be manipulating these colonies, we want them all in deep equipment to make our splits. So later on, this box will be gone. So let's open it up. If there was a queen issue, they should have, if they were trying to supersede her, they should be trying to do it now. And we'll talk a little bit more about it when we get in there. Let's move this out of the way for the time being. See what they're doing over here. See if they're taking syrup. Not as much. There's some bees up here, but you know, they're not wanting to eat quite as much as the other colony was. Keep in mind, healthy bees eat a lot. We're going to put that on so we don't forget it later. And I want to open this colony up and see what they look like. We'll just open the top first. Yeah, as you can see, not much bee activity in this box here at all. But we want to keep this box on here because we're going to use it later. Typically, I would recommend, especially in the cold, bumping them down to this single, wherever the bees are at, just condense them down so they can manage the temperature better. But we're going to be using these boxes here in less than a month or so, so we're going to leave them on. They've got a large enough cluster in the bottom section that they can stay warm. And our temperatures, we don't get extreme temperatures like they do in the north. That one's still got some syrup in it, so we'll wash that down a little bit. But if you look here, they're eating. The cluster size is decent. The problem was the queen. So what we did is, like I said, we killed that cell that was in here, and we took a frame of eggs out of this colony here that was in this medium super on the bottom, and we simply transferred it to this colony. And what that'll do is several things. It'll give, if they're trying to supersede, they will be able to do so with these eggs that we put in here. And also the brood will help suppress any laying worker pheromones or anything like that that you might have going on. So let's just dive in and see what they're doing. They're eating, which is a good sign, and they were bringing in some pollen yesterday. I took a look. Let's just get in here. You won't know anything till you get in it and actually lay hands on it and look and see what's going on. They're a little more agitated. The pressure's dropped outside. They know some rain's on the way. So we're going to be short and quick about it. I always like to start over to the one side or the other, get my frames out. That way I don't have an issue with smushing the queen or whatever. So I'm just going to take this frame out. It's got a little bit of stores in it, not enough. Definitely not enough to keep this colony going. And I want to take these out, and I just want to glance over them and look. A lot of pollen's being brought in, or it's left over. There's some fresh syrup in the combs, but no eggs, no brood or anything like that on this one. So I'm just going to drop it back in. I'm going to move on over, being quick, just to see what we've got. This is a full frame of stores, and there's some eggs being laid in here in the cells. But if you look down here real close, they're turning all these into drone cells. See the bullet-shaped cappings? So it's going to be, it appears to be that we've got a drone laying queen. There's only one cell, or one egg per cell. I don't know if you can see it on camera, so it doesn't appear to be a laying worker issue. It just appears that she ran out of juice over the winter, and she's not doing the job that she should be doing. So we're going to try to find her today if we can. And we're going to look at that frame we gave them and see what they're doing with the fresh eggs, the viable eggs that we gave them. Definitely don't want her turning all this comb into drone comb for sure. It's getting harder to see. It's in the shade. I believe this is the frame we transferred out. I want to be real careful with it. And we do have a few drones. Here's some more of the drone cells we were talking about. That drone was elongated out of a worker cell originally. I'm seeing plenty of eggs, but I'm looking to see if they've started any. There's a cell they're working on, but I can't, or a cup. I don't think it's got anything in it. Maybe this is the one we put in. I'm not sure. More pollen. And I don't see any cells being started, so obviously we're too early in the game. Either they're not trying to supersede or they've decided not to. But my thoughts on that is the frame that we gave them is the eggs just hadn't hatched into larvae yet and they hadn't started drawing them out. So we're going to give it a few more days. I'm not sure when those eggs were laid. They were brand new. It appeared to be brand new, so I'm thinking in a few more days they're going to start elongating some of these cells out of here and working to rear a queen. Because this is the frame I gave them. Just trying to see if any of the cells have emerged or hatched from the egg. And I don't see any. And it can be difficult, guys, to diagnose bee problems. I'm not an expert at it, but I do know a few tips and pointers I can give you. Like giving this colony a frame of brood from that colony, which was eggs, so that definitely gives them an opportunity to rear a new queen if they want to do so. And somebody left a comment saying that why didn't we just take some of the eggs that was on the burr comb, which was in this box, and put it in here. You could definitely do that. There's nothing wrong with doing that. We just did it on a frame so we could pick it out easier and show you. I still don't see the queen. I'm pretty good at spotting queens, but there's one cell per cell, so that tells me there is definitely a queen in here, but she is just not doing what she's supposed to be doing. There's no brood in this colony to speak of, but we gave them the opportunity. We gave them some eggs, and as soon as those eggs hatch, they should start doing their thing and raising some queens if they need one, and superseding that other one. I'm just looking for the queen at this point. If you scroll down in here, you'll see that we cleaned out the bottom board. If you'll bring the camera over here and show you. Bring the camera over here and show them. We cleaned out the bottom board real good. That's important. That's an important part of housekeeping, keeping your colonies clean. And we're going to put this colony back together. Like I said, I don't think the eggs have hatched yet, so they can't make a queen out of it at this point. But sometimes they will go ahead and start drawing a cell on out with a viable egg in it. But I'm not seeing that either. So it's hard to say what's going on with this colony at this point. It's still a little early to tell. But the way you fix that is if something's going on and this one doesn't take, what we'll do is in a week, we'll take some more brood out of this colony and we'll put it into this one. This one will benefit far more than this one will be losing by putting some brood in here to keep this colony going until we can raise some queens, or they can raise their own. So that's where we're at today. I'm gonna go ahead and close these up because they're not in the greatest mood. They're getting tired of being messed with, which I don't blame them. It's cold and windy outside. And we're going to close this up. Like I said, that's some honey on that was left over. We're going to put our feeder rim back on, because this colony definitely is going to need feed. We're going to smoke them down. We're going to get them a full sugar brick to put on here, just so they have plenty of food. We'll throw these back on there as well. And we're going to close this one up, guys. That's basically all we did, is we cleaned the bottom boards out. We transferred some eggs from this strong colony over to this colony. If they were trying to supersede, they have an opportunity to do so. It's really just a waiting game now. Sometimes queens will lay a few drones before the season kicks off. I don't think that's the case here though, because this colony's full of brood and this one has none. So we're going to look at it a little deeper and see what's going on. And if in a couple days to a week they haven't started making sales, we're going to take another frame of brood out of here and put it in this colony just to subside that laying worker tendency. And we're also going to, we're on the cusp of being able to raise some queens. I saw a few drones in this colony and this one, but not enough. So we're just going to play it by ear, and we're going to, you know, buy ourselves some time with this colony from this one until we can get it straightened out, or we either say, hey, this one's not going to work. And if that's the case, we're going to do all our building off of this box. We're going to make sure this one's closed up tight because of the rain that's coming in. Just like so. Okay, so this is part 2 of our series on how to build the bees from 2 colonies. We may end up having to do it from 1, but that'll be okay. The results won't be that much different. 2's always better, but I think we'll get this colony through. We'll keep adding brood to it until we get it where it needs to be. And all else fails, as long as we keep that laying worker pheromone down, or tendency down, it's a lot easier to just take these bees and combine them with this colony and make a cell builder or whatever we need to do. But it's important to go ahead and transfer some brood over to let this colony not go into a laying worker situation. So to recap, what we done, we took these mediums, we put them on the bottom, and it's called reversing the boxes, reversing your brood nest. And what that's going to do is, as this medium super expands, bees naturally like to work up. So they're going to come into this box and they're going to populate this box, which is where I want my colony at, and I want to get rid of this one later on in the season. So what I'm doing is I just reversed them so they'll come up here, the queen will start laying in this box, and it's just easier for me to manipulate them and raise, you know, make the splits that I want to make in deep equipment, because that's what we run. We did the same with this colony also, but remember this one had a drone laying queen or some kind of queen issue. So what we're doing is we reversed this box also, and we took a frame of eggs from this medium over here on the right, your left, my right, and we transferred it over here, and what we did is we just swapped the frames out. That'll give this colony some eggs and some brood pheromones in the coming days, and that'll subside any laying worker tendencies for a while. We can do that multiple times and get where we need to be. And once those eggs hatch, if they need to make an emergency queen, they can, or supersede that old queen. But it's also buying us time that if they don't do that, that hopefully we can use these bees for something else, or we'll have one of our queens ourselves that we can put into this colony. So that's what we done today. We appreciate you watching, guys. If you got any questions, leave them in the comments. We really appreciate all your support and your likes, your comments, and y'all watching. If you got any questions, let us know. Thanks for watching, and happy beekeeping.